Did you know that we were featured in a Living Lutheran article? That is the ELCA's newsletter magazine. It comes out regularly to congregants, churches, people interested in what the ELCA is doing. They did an article on digital ministry, virtual ministry. I've got some thoughts to share about it. That's why we're here right now. I'll link this article below that we're going to talk about. I also want to link the video on the Govee lights that are flashing in my face. It's a little distracting, right? Maybe I'll turn it off. All right, I think we're set up here lighting wise. The thing you need to know about this article, first and foremost, is that while my face may take up a lot of a page, Michele did all of the work. I'm telling you, we wouldn't have been featured at all. It just wasn't something that I had time for at the time, and it was kind of a fast turnaround to be involved in it. And I had to say, like, no, it's not gonna work. And I told Michele that. I said, I'm not gonna have time for this. It's not gonna happen. If you want to do it, please feel free. And she did. Jumped on a call. I think a couple messages, emails back and forth, maybe a couple calls, but like right in there. Thank you, Michele, because now we have this amazing feature in this Living Lutheran magazine that the ELCA distributes. One thing Michele really likes that I wanted to point out, if you look at the other pictures in this article, link below again, check it out, they are kind of our brand colors, like the purple and pink that we got going on. Like, it's almost like they planned that, which I don't know if they did, because the pictures are other people that are mentioned in the article. So that's probably just like coincidence, but we were kind of excited about that. If every time we think of digital ministry, we think of pink and purple, I mean, that's kind of fun. The first sentence within this article is talking about the metaverse, which I thought was really neat that they kind of just went there, dove right in. The metaverse, VR church, or even just VR relationships connections, is something that we really believe is going to be a big part of the future of digital ministry, the now even of digital ministry. I mean, there's so many communities that are already partaking in ministry, in relationship building through VR, faith related communities, non-faith related communities, people hang out in VR, and that's a now thing. So this is something that we really want to pay attention to and build more of our educational platform around, to make sure that you all feel really equipped with VR ministry as it kind of comes in a little bit more than it already is. And so if you're not already subscribed to the Digital Ministry Training Hub waitlist, because right now it's still not open, you can find that below, and we would love to make sure that you are kept up to date with any and all educational content we put out. Deeper dives into how to use different platforms, how to troubleshoot different things with digital ministry, social media, websites, and of course, as we get into it, virtual reality. And so also, shameless plug for DJ Soto's, VR church podcast called The Future of the Church is the Metaverse, of which we are, I don't know what it's called, silver, gold primary sponsors for. We were given the opportunity to be sponsors of this podcast, the VR church. Future of the Church is the Metaverse. Super exciting stuff. They are in the early stages of rolling that out, and so stay tuned for more, and also check out the initial episodes like ASAP, because DJ Soto is a great person who has a lot of knowledge to share with us. Also in the podcast, you'll find a special discount for the Training Hub, which is just super cool. So waitlist below if you're interested. I have to also point out with this article, I'm just appreciating the fact that the ELCA in general sees value in this space, the metaverse VR church. They're maybe afraid, because maybe we're all a little afraid, but they're not afraid enough to be quiet about it, to hide from it. They're willing to be brave and kind of throw it out there and acknowledge the fact that this is something that we need to lean into. And in fact, we've had some conversations with leaders in the denomination who are making some moves in this space, and we're super grateful for their efforts and super excited to both learn more about what they're building and be part of it as we're able to. And so some of those people are mentioned in the article. Check it out for more information. I'm not going to give you all the article information. I gotta make this a little clickbaity. We don't get paid if you read the article. It is all free. There's a bunch of stories, and there's one story in particular where someone had an online worship service, like streaming service. This was before COVID. They skipped a week because the person that kind of did everything got sick and they didn't know what to do, and they were just like, oh well. Someone from like across the country calls them and is like, where was your worship service? We can't get to our own worship service, and this is across the country, like states away. We can't get to our own worship service, and we've been streaming yours and gathering with like 20 people and then discussing it later. And they didn't even know. Like, that's amazing. And so they said they hadn't missed an online streaming service since then because they knew they were ministering to these folks across the country. I love that story was included. I love that happened. And I think we can learn just so much from it, particularly that we don't always know who we're affecting when we are putting content online. Now, hopefully we can find out, because it's nice when you get those glimpses of the ways you've affected people with your digital ministry, but you might not always hear all of it. And so hang on to the ones that you do, but recognize that you might not always know about everything and all the ways you're impacting people. The last point I want to just throw out there is there were kind of like two thoughts at the end mentioned about the metaverse, and one comment was like, this is not a novel thing. Like, that's one side here. Like, Life Church has been doing this for years, completely online or in virtual reality. I don't even know. But just, this is not like cutting edge stuff at this point. There's a lot of people that are already very much engaged. And then the other side, there was a comment that like some are already discussing the future of like what VR church could possibly bring to the church. And like, that's great, but also can we recognize that there are people already doing it? Not that it should make us feel panicked about like being behind or not being involved or not having any idea what it is or how to get involved in it. But just recognize that it's not, it may be more prevalent in the future. I think it will absolutely be, but it's not like we don't know that it could work. It's not like we've never seen it before. It's not like there's going to be no one that knows what to do or how to do it. So let's learn from them. Let's recognize that people will have a lot to share. They're going to have experience to share. They're going to have suggestions to share, things that we shouldn't do, we should think about doing maybe. And hopefully that gives us some comfort knowing that this is not a completely new experience. It's good to be aware so you don't feel surprised later, so you don't feel caught off guard later, so you don't feel like you didn't have an informed decision that you're making now later when you're looking back. And that was a lot of blobbing on about this article. So I hope you read it. I hope that these reflections gave you something to think about, maybe even just a little bit. And I hope you subscribe to our channel because we are going to put out more helpful content in the coming weeks and months. And I hope you consider joining the waitlist for the Digital Ministry Training Hub, which is so comprehensive. I mean, our course is in it. Our ebook is now in it. Walk through step by step on social media. Like, I'm grabbing my face a lot because I'm just like, this whole conversation, I'm like, wow, there's so much to be excited about. And one of those things is this hub, and the way that we know it is already answering a ton of questions for faith leaders that have asked us these exact questions, but also has the opportunity for you, if you join the hub as a member, to ask additional questions, which I, Michelle, others will answer in videos like this, but we'll only put them in the hub. So thanks. Check out the article. See you around.